Hey everyone, I'm Myra.
And I'm Maureen.
When we were younger, we thought adulthood meant having everything figured out.
And we thought adults had all the answers.
And now we're like, wait, nobody knows what they're doing.
Yeah, we're all just figuring it out.
So today, we're talking about the life plot twist nobody warned us about. The moment we realize adults don't actually have all the answers. And the moment we realize we're becoming our parents. Oh my God, that's like the word. And how our definition of success, happiness, and even rest has changed.
Yes, and later we'll be talking something about what we've been seeing everywhere, the soft life era.
I wonder what that is. But anyway, because the question is, are we finally learning to slow down or are we just getting older? But before we get into today's conversation, we wanted to take a moment to say thank you. One of our favorite parts of creating Halo Halo conversations has been reading your comments and hearing your stories.
Yes, when we started this podcast, we wanted it to feel like a conversation between sisters, but also a conversation with you all.
So today we're sharing a comment from one of our listeners.
So a very nice comment from at Unboxed TikTok Finds by Miss Karen. She said, I'm seeing how your childhood was so funny and happy. The way you started your intro, more power for both of you. What's your reaction to that?
Well, that was our first comment, so it was exciting that she found our intro awesome, and we love getting positive comments, and feedback is also great, so keep it coming. Thank you, Miss Karen.
Yeah, thank you for watching and supporting our channel. We appreciate it.
Okay, so we can go to the next comment. So another comment we had was from at Mr. Bildo426, and he wrote, funny story about the gossip. At our house in the Philippines, I went to the 7-Eleven close by to get a few things. I got my stuff, said thank you, and have a nice day to the cashier girl. The trip home was about a minute by trike. By the time I got home, my mother-in-law was getting text saying I was flirting with some girl at the 7-Eleven, laughing emojis. We all got a good laugh from it. Wow. But
wow.
Thank you for sharing that funny story. Yes, Filipinos and their mga chismosas.
Yes, so many marites in the Philippines. I can't believe, like, not even what did he say? Like a minute?
He said a minute. And then he already got like some type of information. The mother-in-law already found out something. So it was weird.
That is crazy. News travels fast for sure, especially there.
Yes. But yeah, thank you for our listeners for dropping some comments. Keep it coming. And we're going to be trying to read more comments as they come along. All right. Yeah. And if you want to be featured in a future community scoop, leave us a comment down below. Share a memory, a family story, or something on one of our episodes reminded you of your own. We might be reading yours next.
Yes.
So let's get into today's conversation. All right. So when we were younger, did you think adults actually knew what they were doing?
I thought so. At least it seemed like they had every answer, or at least our mom did.
Right. Same. I thought there would be this magical moment where you became an adult and suddenly everything made sense.
Yeah, but we both know that that's not true because, as we talked about before in some of our previous episodes, one, there is no manual for parenting, which we talked about, but also there is no manual on how to become an adult, right? So you just had to experience things, and everybody starts with struggles. So just kind of trying to find yourself and trying to weave through life, I guess. What did you think?
Well, the magical thing is usually when you reach the age of 18, you're considered an adult.
American culture.
In American culture. And that's kind of like the obvious answer. But then as far when did being a child transition to becoming an adult, there's really one clear moment, right? So based on Alyssa turning 18 this year, she always says, oh, I'm 18 now. So she keeps mentioning it. But at the same time, she'll still ask us, oh, can you take me here? And can you take me there? So she's saying she's an adult, but there's still things that you need your parents for. So
yes,
that's why I feel like there's really no one obvious answer for transition to becoming an adult.
Even though, yes, in our brains, once you reach age 18, you think like, oh, I'm an adult. I can be independent and do these things on my own now. But in all honesty, no, you're still a kid. you're not going to know exactly what to do, but you just think like, oh, once I turn 18, I'm an adult, I can do what I want. Oh, but mom, can I please have money for gas? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's not, I feel like it's not the same.
So I think the biggest surprise is realizing our parents were figuring things out too. Don't you think?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think as you go through life, I don't think anybody really has everything figured out. Everyone that's is just kind of doing their best. So,
yeah, that's true. Next funny thing that we didn't expect. What is something our mom used to do that annoyed us, but now we completely understand? Share your story. If you could think one off the top of your head, at least. So,
well, I can think one about our dad because
No.
I know I used to complain about it and how like he used to repeat his questions. And I would think, oh my God, he's so makulit. Like he just keeps saying things over and over. And I get so annoyed. And guess who's doing that now? Now my kids are like, God, like you just asked this question 5 seconds ago. And now you're like asking it again. You know, like they get annoyed. So it's funny how when it was daddy doing it, I used to complain and be like, oh my God, he's so makulit. Basically, it's like saying things over and over, and you're just like, God, quit being annoying, you know? But now I understand it. I feel like as we age, we do, or at least for me, I do forget like some of the little things. And so I have to like ask again. And so now my girls are doing it to me. Karma.
Yeah, well, for me,
you,
I want to make sure the house is clean and they have their duties of what they need to do. I feel that's a mom thing. Maybe specifically what our mom used to say versus it's just a mom thing. We just want to make sure they're all cleaning. They're just not like laying around. You know, remember she used to be like, oh, why are you guys just doing nothing or whatever? And then she's the one kind of cleaning and doing everything and stuff like that. So I feel like I became that kind of mom. Like, what are you guys doing? Help, you know.
your kids say you're Lita Jr.
You already said that before. Still no comments, so.
Even though we say these things, what do you think is something that you understand about our mom and dad now that you didn't understand when you were younger?
I think just the sacrifices that parents make for their kids. That's the thing that I understand now as a parent, having gone through. And for us, I think it was a little bit harder than it was on our parents because their sacrifice is a little different. So for them, their sacrifice was being away from their kids so that they could give their kids a better life. You know, they worked abroad so that they could give us a better life. But for us, the sacrifice is we were there from when they were born and having to go through all of that baby stage, all of the crying, like when they get sick and all of that. I mean, that's a sacrifice in itself, you know what I mean? But also in the Filipino culture, even though they weren't quick to say like I love you or I'm proud of you, they did show it in other ways. So especially like our mom, she did it through her food, always making us food and making sure that we were well fed. So that was her way of showing her love to us, which we, you know, of course, when you're a kid, you crave the words of affirmation. That's how I feel appreciated. But because we didn't hear that, it was hard. You know what I mean? Like you had to just assume that they loved you through other means. So what about you? Like what something that you didn't understand before about our parents and now you do?
Same as you, their sacrifices, their worries for their kids, the love language that they show us without saying the words I love you. We all understand by cooking or just asking how we're doing, that kind of thing. If we ate, right? That's Filipino moms always kumain ka na ba, right? It's always that. That's their word of saying, you know, I want to make you happy, want to make you full. And I feel like I do that with my kids. I'm always, you know, making sure they're good with everything. So I think my love language is acts of service. I always make sure everyone around me is comfortable, that they're happy, kind of putting them first, just making sure that everybody's okay around me first before I get to relax. And then seeing them all happy, then that fills my heart. And then things that seemed annoying then, like how daddy used to call us and say, anong balita? Just calling randomly. And then we're like, "Ugh, why is he asked the same thing?" But now, you know, do miss him just calling us randomly, like, anong balita? You know, so I feel like how Ate says, she does that to her kids now. Just kind of like randomly text them, you know, hey, what are you doing? Or whatever, you know. that's his way of showing his love to us, just being the one to initiate the conversation or calling. We were in our 20s back then when we thought it was annoying, but now that we're moms, I feel like we missed that. We appreciated him when he did ask those questions. So, what about you?
I agree with what you said. I didn't realize it at the time that he was doing that as a means of making connection with us and just, you know what I mean? Like, hey, I just want to make sure you're doing good. But we didn't realize that at the time. And then whenever he passed, that's when we're like, oh, I missed that. You know, it was him, you know, kind of being the glue to us and just making sure that, you know, he thought of us. You know what I mean? So, which is something that we miss. And we, you know, like you said, we didn't realize it until after he passed. But it was annoying at the time. But when it's gone, you miss it. So, the thing I'm going to say to you kids out there, if you're watching, when your mom or dad texts you or just tries to make connection, just understand that they're just showing their love to you. It's not to be annoying. It's not to be a bugaboo. It's not to be nosy about what you're doing. It's just a means to make that connection.
Agree. All right, so it's time for one of our favorite segments. Did mom ever say this? Are you ready? I'll say it and then you can explain, I guess. Okay. Did you hate hearing this? You'll understand when you're older.
I did, but now I understand why they say it, because I feel like really until you're walking in their shoes, then you're not going to understand it. So yes, it was annoying before when you say, you'll understand when you're older. Actually, it's more of a threat. Like, you'll understand when you're older. You know, what about you?
I remember when she used to say, you'll understand when you have your own kids, because we talk back or we're mean, like, you know, we don't want to do it, we don't want to clean or whatever it is, right? Like we're talking, you know, we're just being mean to her. You'll understand when you have kids, your kids are going to be 10 times as worse or something like that to you.
Right. Yeah. Your kids are going to do the same things that you're doing to me, to you. And then you'll understand like that. Oh, I hated that.
Me too. I hated that.
Because then I was thinking like, oh, you're saying that to me. Then that must mean that you did something so bad to nanay and tatay. You know what I mean?
I wonder what, and I wonder if we could ask her.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
like she'll tell on herself. Of course not.
Yes. Okay, next one. Money doesn't grow on trees. Oh my God. Yes,
oh my God.
I hear this all the time because we want to buy something. Can you buy us something? What, do you think money grows on trees or whatever? We just want like ice cream or something like that. And or you're hungry that after like an hour, like hungry to get something else. It's like they keep saying we're like, you know, asking for too much or something. Yeah. Right? That's how I kind of remember when she or both of them used to say that, because we were asking for something.
I think they don't say it like money grows on trees, but they say like, hoy, hindi pinupulot ang pera. Meaning like, you don't just pick up money off the floor, you know?
Oh my God, no. And then it's followed by, back in our days, oh my God.
Oh yeah, but now if you ask our kids, I bet you they'll be like, oh my God, I already know there's a lecture coming.
No, I remember, I mean, I didn't say that now. It's like, back in our time, I was like, oh my God, I sound old. What the hell?
But you catch yourself saying it, don't you?
Yeah, and I have to say it out loud. Like, oh my God, I sound like my parents, you know?
Yeah.
All right, the next one is, did you eat? Kumain ka na ba? Right? That one, it's not a bad thing. I say that now, as we said earlier. Oh, you don't like hearing it back then?
No, I did. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Especially,
you just gave that look like.
No, I'm saying like it's true. It's something that's not bad, you know, it's something as a means to show like love, you know?
I know. That's like the strangest thing, but then we totally understand it now. Back then it's like, yeah, we just ate. But then during summertime is when we're always at home and we're always want to eat. So they didn't have to ask us at that time. I think when we got older is when they asked, you know, so.
But my kids, when they were little, they got overfed by their grandparents. So as soon as they get there, they'll eat breakfast, the typical eggs, rice, and sausage that Filipinos make, like Vienna sausage. And then after that, they're like, oh, you want some champurrado? So it's like the chocolate porridge. So they'll eat that after. And then they'll go to Costco and eat some samples there. And then once they come back home from Costco, they'll feed them like, oh, you want some bread? Because, you know, they usually make fresh bread. So then they'll eat bread with blueberry cream cheese And then after that, like, I don't know, maybe an hour later, oh, you guys want some grapes? Like, my kids were overfed, absolutely overfed. And then later on, be like, oh, we have some ice cream. Do you want some ice cream? But then they'll be the first one to call them tabachoy, you know?
Oh my God. Yes. Typical Filipino. No, but I was gonna say our parents always overstocked their refrigerator and freezer anyway. So definitely they could feed the whole army if they wanted to. And that's why anybody that enters their home, they're always, like you said, being overfed. So, it's a good thing. Being treated like princesses, so
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They did like being overfed.
So yeah, now we want to hear from you. What is something your parents always said growing up that you finally understood now? Drop it down in the comments below. Speaking of things that changed as we got older, it's time for
The Cheese Corner.
We didn't even say that together, but
We
you guys
did.
know already. You already know. So I've been seeing this phrase everywhere lately. Soft life.
Yes. So people are talking more about slowing down and protecting your peace and setting boundaries and not always living in the hustle mode. So honestly, what I've heard, the trend in 2026 is the kids are doing more analog hobbies, is what I've been seeing. Have you
Meaning
seen
like
that?
not being on digital stuff?
Yeah, or like, you know how the cassette tapes are making a comeback and some of the
What?
CDs? Have you seen that? Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Wait, which
So
generation is it? Like, I mean, is it like the 20-year-olds or whatever are like starting to listen to the cassette tapes? Like, did they specify what age group?
I think, yeah, the 20s, because I know my oldest one, she was buying a set or CD, and I'm like, why are you doing that? Like they have the cassette
Walkman?
player too.
The
Yeah,
cassette
yeah,
player
yeah.
too.
Walkman, yeah. She bought one like a few years ago, and I said, why do you have that? That doesn't even make any sense because, like you can go on Spotify or Apple Music and easily get whatever music you want, but they like that stuff.
Well, for me, like my oldest one is just the digital cameras are coming back. And for the high schoolers, now that she's going to be in college, she got our old Sony digital camera. So I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah.
Isn't that funny?
I mean, everything comes back. Same thing as like those Coach bags on the shoulder. And then you can't do the side crossbody bag anymore. You've heard that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're supposed to wear on your shoulder, but you see it on TikTok or like Instagram. Us generation will be like trying to hold it on here and it keeps falling. We're just like, oh, never mind. We're not going to follow the damn trend.
I'm not doing that. I don't care.
I'm not doing that either. I just saw like once in a while it goes on my shoulder and it was okay, but I'm like, it's so uncomfortable. I like it like crossbody. That's why they call it
Right.
crossbody for that reason.
Exactly. And it makes it so much easier to carry and you don't have to worry about it falling off your shoulder.
Yes. Anyway, going back to soft life. Well, I had to laugh because I feel like our parents would hear soft life and say, soft life, you mean rest? So yeah, like explain more about this and like where have you been hearing this? Like, who's been kind of like following this that you've been seeing? Can you kind of give me more information?
I think this generation is more about like protecting their peace and, they're all about like setting boundaries, right? And you know how like before for us, we were always taught like, oh, you got to hustle while you're young. You know what I mean? Go for, all these jobs and get these promotions and stuff like that. And for them, it's not like that. They're more about, is this going to make me happy? I'm not trying to chase after money or, they want more of, am I happy doing this? Is this fulfilling to me? But I think that's the difference between their generation and our generation, because for us, it's like, you really don't, I don't know.
Well,
I guess we
self-care
were
first. No, that to them is self-care first. Like that.
Yeah.
That includes making sure that like you said, we're taught hustle, hustle, hustle. But for them, it's like, okay, we can hustle, but then I feel like I have no identity anymore. I if I'm not happy, I'm gonna leave. It's like that.
Yes.
Like as you probably heard it too in the corporate world, it's like for their generation, it's like that. If you're not happy within either 3 months, 3 years, or 3 days, 3 days is extreme, but like the power of threes is like after 3 years they evaluate where they are and then they kind of like, okay, I'm not happy here, I'm gonna move on to the next thing. Versus our generation's like loyalty is something that we're proud of and we stay in a company for 20 years. And for someone that left 3 years, they probably have a better salary than a person that stayed 20 years in one company, for example. So
Yes.
their generation kind of just sees things differently, and not in a bad way. It's just that's how they want to live their life, right? They don't want to be stuck just staying in one place if they're not happy. They want to explore other options in that sense.
I mean,
so
I think there's value in that, right? That's not something I feel like.
I do like their thought process. I actually like that. So
Yeah, I feel like the difference is that they were afforded that opportunity to be able to make the decision or make the choices to find your happiness, right? Because your parents hopefully giving you a comfortable life, comfortable enough for you to be able to say, yeah, this doesn't make me happy. I'm going to go look for the next thing versus us where, our parents were kind of like, oh no, like I'm not supporting you. You better support yourself. I think a lot of our generation, like you said, once you're 18, you're an adult now, you get out of the house and get your own place. And, I'm not supporting you anymore. So I think that's the difference. I feel like their generation, it's not that they don't push as hard as we would because they didn't have as much, like I think there's value in learning from the struggle, right? And because I think it's a little bit easier on them, they choose not to struggle, right? So they're like, before I even struggle, I'm just going to find something else because they don't want to have to do that. You know
deal
what I'm
with
saying?
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if that makes sense. And I'm not saying one way is better than the other. I just think it's a difference in how the generations kind of panned out. You know what I mean? I wish we were afforded the opportunity when we were younger to say like, oh, go search for like what it is that you love about your life and what you really want to do. We weren't afforded that, in my opinion.
Definitely. Yeah. It's that hustle mentality, right? And the loyalty mentality too. So that's what we were kind of like not stuck, but like that's what we knew versus that the new generation just because of maybe our emotional and financial support, they're able to explore other options while they're still young.
Yeah, no, I think you said we were always taught work hard because that's the only way to succeed. While this generation, their success is kind of more measured in how much they're enjoying life, which in a sense, I envy that. You know what I mean? I
Definitely.
wish being young and free.
But before having children, get to enjoy that kind of thing, right? But at least our kids are getting that kind of opportunity. Oh,
we live vicariously through them.
There you go.
At least
so,
I
yeah.
do.
So we'll pass it on to you guys. Do you believe in the soft life? What does a soft life look like for you? Drop it down in the comments. All right. So I think this connects to something else. Our definition of success changes as we get older.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So what were you going after when you were 25? What was your goal?
Well, I mean, for us, it's definitely find a job. I feel like that's the first thing. Find a job, be successful in where you're working, show them how hardworking you are, get that money, save. Kind of like just always, not that you have a chip on your shoulder all the time, but you got to prove yourself, by showing up, like taking a day off or a vacation is kind of like frowned upon in a sense. It's just, so at 25, we're just kind of like, okay, let me work hard before I start having a family. Let me show what I'm, made of. What's my worth, right? But, okay, for you, what do you think was the whole at 25? How did success look like to you back then?
I mean, same. Obviously, we've talked about this. I had children early. So, for me, I wanted to give them a comfortable life. So for me, success was finishing college so that I could get to the next step, which is get a good job. And then once I get a good job, then, I can just keep moving up. So it was like, keep chasing the next, not the next big thing, but you know what I mean? You're going after the money, right? I don't think I was really very like driven, like, oh my God, I have to move up the ladder. I have to get into management or I have to do these things. I don't think I had that mentality. It was more of like, let me just get to the next level, so I could get the money. And I think that was the motivation at the time, because like I said, I wanted to give my children a comfortable life. So that was my motivation. But now, totally
let's
different.
talk about now. Let's talk about now. Now, what are we looking for? Or what is success to us now? Having good health, right? Look at us. In our 40s, we're still look like we're in our 20s. But meaning like we still kind of feel young, right?
Yes.
We just want what? Focus on what? Go ahead.
Having more time with your family. And honestly, I know I've been thinking about this a lot. It's just time is so precious that I wish that we could all be afforded to have our time be our time now. You know what I mean? Instead of waiting until you're 65, I don't know that I want to wait that long because, my energy when I get to that age is going to be different than what my energy is now. So really figure out what makes you feel like there's a purpose in your life, right? So definitely peace also, right? Because you don't want any drama. You really just want to have a peaceful life. I don't like having arguments really with people. So do you find yourself just kind of separating yourself from people that you feel are toxic like that?
No, for sure. I actually enjoy my me time more now. To me, that's being successful is having like a lot of downtime. You just not always, oh, I got to do this or whatever. Although I like to keep myself busy, having your downtime is nice. And yeah, as far as toxic people, yes, I definitely stay away from that. I stay away from drama, keep the circle small, right? That's how it is as adults now.
Yeah, I do think, honestly, I had trouble finding friends when I came here anyway, because like I said, in past episodes, we've talked about this and how it was harder anyway. If you're a teenager coming to the States, all of the kids already kind of made their own friends. But I do think that it's harder even now as an adult to find like really meaningful friendships, in my opinion, so, I feel like you really have to invest the time to make the connection. And I think most people our age, like you said, I don't want to, I would rather just be at home, or like, I'm not gonna,
No,
I'm
it's
not
like
gonna, and
the thing that they talk about now is like, oh, the group made it out of their group chat. And like you always talk about meeting up or, oh yeah, let's do this. And then it keep getting pushed back. And finally when it happens, it's like, oh wow, it became like a once a year thing. So I feel like I have like once a year things with my like close friends. And then here and there I text people that, I just want to check in on. That's one thing that I kind of starting to change as I got older is don't be reactive when it comes to checking up on people. If you really think about them, just say a quick hello. How you doing? It's been a while. And if they don't answer, okay, at least they saw that you remember them, you thought of them, So I try to do that the best I can now that I got older. So
I like that. And like you said, if you think about somebody and you reach out, you don't necessarily have to like always think or always hope that they would do the same. You know what I mean? But
you're right,
sometimes,
right, yeah.
sometimes it does get annoying, right? Sometimes it is hard whenever you're the one that's always just the one reaching out. So that's why you protect your peace, whatever meaningful relationships you want to have, you have the choice to make that happen. Like Myra said, don't wait for the other person to reach out. If you think of somebody, reach out to them.
So yeah, so growing up Filipino, a lot of us were taught success meant working hard and making our family proud.
And, to be frank, yes, those things still matter. But also, I think being successful also means being happy with the life that you created, the life that you're living. So you can't just be working all the time. You have to enjoy your life too, because as the old people would say, like, you can't take your money to the grave.
Oh, another thing that they say, definitely. The last part is, if you could talk to your 25-year-old self today, what would you say? You can go first.
Ako talaga na una? Okay, so I would say live your life to the fullest. Don't rush becoming an adult. Don't rush your time away. Don't rush the life away, and enjoy every moment that you have. So, because you can't go back in time and, relive those moments anymore.
Good one.
What about you?
I would tell my 25-year-old self to enjoy your youth, travel more, maybe discover yourself more, maybe learn more languages or a new language, or learn something that you never did. For example, learn how to swim, take a swimming lesson, or take a piano lesson.
It's funny you say that. We don't know how to swim.
I know.
Isn't that awful? Yeah.
So those kind of things. Maybe I could tell my younger self, try to learn something that you never learned before, or just take things slow. You have a whole life ahead of you. Why rush to go to the next step, right? So enjoy yourself.
Yes.
So yeah,
I love it.
Well, yeah, we'll pass it down to you now. For you guys, what would you tell your young self? Share it with us and drop it down in the comments below. We would love to read or hear your stories. All right. So, I think what's interesting is that when we started today's conversation, we were talking about all the things that changed as we got older. the things we thought adulthood would be, the things we understand differently now. And I think the biggest lesson is that growing up never really stopped.
Oh, yeah. I think no matter what age, this is the one thing that we changed about us, right? Because I used to hate our dad saying, like, oh, an old dog can't learn new tricks. I used to hate that. I always thought that as long as you're alive, you're always going to learn. You keep learning and you keep changing. And that's a choice that you make to figure yourself out. So yeah, I think no matter what age, there's always an opportunity to be better, to be your better self.
Yes, and that's actually why we wanted to start ending our episodes with something new. It's called One Scoop to Go.
Because just like Halo Halo, it's a mix of different flavors, and every conversation leaves us with something meaningful, a lesson, a memory, or just a thought that we want to carry with us.
All right, so before we say goodbye, here's our one scoop for today's conversation.
So my scoop is, just because you get older with age doesn't mean you have the answers, doesn't mean you have all of the knowledge either. You know, so we
learn something new every day.
Yes.
We learn something new every day. Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, we're all still learning, and we even learn from our kids too. At least if you pay attention to them, they're also teaching us things every day. So I feel like as you get older, the learning never stops. I think it's important for people to do some self-reflection just so that you could be, 1% better every day.
I like that. Well, my scoop is the things we thought were the little moments were often the moments that matter the most. Plain and simple. So I love it. Okay, so yeah, there's definitely a lot more stories to tell, and we want to thank you for joining us for another episode of Halo Halo Conversations.
Whether you're far from your siblings or just need a little nostalgia and laughs, we hope you feel a little closer to us and maybe even your own family.
Until next time, keep mixing life, laughter, and memories, Halo Halo style. See you next time on
Halo Halo Conversations. Bye.